The opinions expressed are those of the host. The material is for informational purposes only. It does not constitute investment advice, and it is not intended as an endorsement for any specific investment. Visit crestmontpw.com for more details.
Welcome to the Ascent. This is Sam McGee with Crestmont Private Wealth. We have offices in Houston and in Boerne, Texas. We are coming to you from the Crestmont studio with Baron Wiley and my daughter. So I have my 15-year-old, soon to be 16-year-old, and at the time of airing, it is her 16th birthday. Very fun. Izzy, welcome to the show.
Hi.
So Izzy, you're the daughter of a business owner. So before we get into your business stuff, because I know you're super motivated and you run circles around me already, but maybe just share a little bit about what it's like, pros and cons about being the kid of a business owner, because we started our business literally when you were a baby. So what are maybe two good things and two not so good things?
So one of the pros is that my dad does work very hard, and I do understand that he does a lot to provide for this family. And hey, my mom does too. Don't discredit my mom. And then even though there is a con of him having to stay late or sometimes having to go on phone calls in the middle of a family game or a movie or having to do emails all the time, even late at night. I mean, he constantly says he's tired. We know. But
wow, this is a roast.
Sorry. But although it is to provide for the family, and so he works really hard so that way he can afford to sometimes take time off and hang out with the family uninterrupted. Rarely. I'm just joking.
No, that's good.
Another con would just be the fact that I see a lot of stress on him all the time. My mom included, not throwing you off to the side, Mom. You're great. Just a lot of the times he will come home and he'll be like, oh, I had such a rough day. And he'll go back to his bedroom and he'll plot right on his bed and take a nap. And he'll be out for a while. And I'll be like, where's Dad? And my mom's like, I don't know. And I'll be like, oh, he's probably on the bed. And then I'll go in, I'll just see my dog's Harper snuggling with my dad.
Oh, yeah. So that was the dog I didn't want. That's now like, my favorite dog ever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you nailed it. I mean, being a business owner it can be stressful. I mean, it's taxing. And I mean, here we were a few minutes ago, I saw Baron walking around outside on the cell phone and talking about something business-wise for his business at Boerne Radio. And it is constant. It is all the time. And you, my daughter, my precious daughter, have been just amazing to have that ability to adapt and understand, when things do come up. But you're right. It's also been one of these experiences where, we have had the chance to be able to get away and do other things. So thanks for sharing a little bit about that perspective. I'm probably going to listen to this in about 10 years and then ask you again.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So, okay, a little bit about you. Okay, so Izzy, I think this is really good for listeners and my future self and your future self to think about, okay, what's it like to be a 15-year-old going to 16? Maybe you're a grandparent listening to this. Maybe you're a parent. Maybe you're a younger kid. You're 10 years old and you're listening to this. What's it like being 15, about to be 16? I know you're practicing to learn to drive. You're trying to find a job. And then we're going to talk about your crochet business in a minute. But what do you do?
Do I need to pay for advertising for that?
No, you don't. It's a little freebie for you. You might have to do some chores, but... What's it like being a 15-year-old today in 2025?
There's a lot of things I could say, and I understand it's definitely a stressful role that parents have, but I feel like I'm not discrediting any of that.
Oh, no. No, we want to hear your world.
I feel like a lot of the times it can be really crazy as a teenager, from social media to just peer pressure. I will say I don't think it's as bad in Boerne, but it's still present, and I honestly think that there is a lot of stress also on your future, and it's very hard to live in the moment as a teenager when you're focusing all on, what can I do now to get to be successful later in life. And there's always a feeling that if I don't figure that out now or soon, could my possibility of success be ruined? or just not be as great.
Wow. I mean, I think that's a big difference between when I was 15 to today's world. And I think a lot of parents and grandparents and other people out there maybe not realize that there's a lot of pressure on these kids, and you're still a kid. You don't, you're looking less and less like a kid, but yeah, a lot of pressure. And you're also in sports. So tell our listeners a little bit about what you do in sports.
I'm in cross country. I may not be the top runner, but I sure do love it and hate it. I kind of have a love-hate relationship.
How so?
Well, running's not fun, but the feeling after is great. And after a race, I love the feeling when you feel like you're about to faint and you just make your way to the applesauce and chocolate milk waiting for you. A lot of the times it can be a lot to juggle sports and everything else. I would say it's healthy for me. It keeps me going. I have good endorphins from it. And it really benefits in my overall mood. So if you have a teenager, I would say let them do sports. I didn't want to. My parents forced me to. And now I'm in my 3rd year of cross country on my own will.
And horseback riding too, right?
Yeah, I also do horseback riding. I love doing that. I have an amazing trainer. She has always been there for me, and she's like very fearless, and I love her. And a lot of the times, horseback riding can give me that feeling of freedom in my life as I'm taking control of the reins, like literally. And that helps me feel like even through all this craziness, I still have control.
Oh, that's good. Not many kids come on the air at 15, so pretty impressive. All right, so you are, today when this is airing, you are 16. Happy birthday, Isabella. But
Thank you.
Today when we're recording it, you're getting closer to driving and you've been looking for a job. So maybe explain your experience of looking for a job while practicing driving your sophomore year. What's the process like? Because I came to you a few weeks ago and I said, hey, I can help you build your resume. And you said, wait a minute, I've already been taught how to do that. And I've got several forms of resumes. I didn't even know what a resume was when I was 15. So let's give a little shout out to Boerne ISD on that. Talk about that.
Okay, so a lot of kids will sometimes complain about, oh, well, Boerne, they do have this useless so-called class of college and career. But it's really not useless. Although I will say my graduation year did have to do it a lot because of the requirement used to be a semester and now it's a full year, so we had to retake the class again. But it was really helpful in learning skills for just in the workplace in the future, what jobs you want to do, salaries, wages, everything. And they also had us practice resumes. And one of my teachers in a completely separate class as well has made us do other resumes and showing us how to do it for like tailoring it to a certain job, making it seem like you're just having your intents on that company. You could not. You could. But I like, honestly, having all these backup resumes ready for me to just edit and print because it has made my life so much easier. I wasn't very happy at first to take the class, but now I am because it's really helped me.
That's great. So, and you are at the time of airing, you're a driver now, but like right now you're really close to getting your license. What's that like, getting close to being a driver?
Well, there's the first step of getting air horns, telling everybody to clear the road. I'm just joking. No, I'm a good driver. Well, it can be kind of crazy. A lot of the times, driving can be a little bit intimidating, but honestly, I think if you just are confident, you've got this.
All right, good. And how has the job search been going? And how does that relate to what you're doing right now? And maybe talk a little bit about what you're going to be doing at Market Days on the 22nd of June, starting with the jobs.
Well, a lot of times it is hard to be patient and just wait. I don't have a job yet, but I am looking for one. I've been applying places, just getting to look presentable, applying, asking if their manager's there. And if not, I'll just go and give them my resume and tell the manager to say that I came by. Sometimes I'll go and check in with email or I'll go in person just because I really want to make a good impression, as I really want a job that's not at home, boring, remote. I want to work. I want to be helpful to the community. I want to feel useful.
No, that's good. And I think most people feel that way. So, but very cool quality of my daughters there. Tell the story about how you and Mom went to that crochet class, and then you met a lady at Walmart, and how that's led to what you're doing today, and then share what you're going to be doing on the 22nd, Sunday, the 22nd of June.
Okay, so I have been taking a long break from my phone, and I had just gotten really bored. And so I looked on my mom's phone one day, and I was like, you know what? I see on the Boerne website that there is a crochet class at the city park. And I was like, okay, let's do it. And my mom was like,
Yeah, she was a little reluctant.
And I was like, yes. And we went, and we tried it, and it was a little chaotic, just because there was a lot of people, and we were kind of being taught by YouTube videos. A little confusing, but I kind of got it. And my mom did not get it at all. She kept on losing her stitch counts and kept on unraveling it, and she was so frustrated. She got nowhere.
Can't be an expert in everything.
I know. She's an expert of being a great mom, though. Yeah, keep the shout-outs in. I love my mom. And my dad. And my brother.
Okay, that's good.
And my dogs. Then, after that, I had learned some basics, but I didn't really fully understand how to actually make something out of it, other than just, like, pieces of yarn, stitches, yeah. And so what I was going to do is I was going to Walmart to go and get some yarn to practice with. And as I was there was this lady, an old lady. She was, like, in one of those Walmart carts. She was talking to her husband, and she was like, get me the J-hook. No, I said the J-hook. And I'm like...
With that accent?
Ma'am, can I help you? And she was like, yes, the J-hook. And I was like, the L-hook? And I didn't understand what she was saying either. And she was like, are you new to crochet? And I was like, yes. And she was like, oh, so what do you know so far? And I was like, well, they taught me these basic stitches, like... And we carried on a conversation. And then she was like, oh, do you know how to make a granny square? And I was like, no, I do not. And she's like, you know what? How about I teach you? And she grabbed the yarn I had, and she was like, are you using this or buying it? And I was like, yep. And she was like, okay. She ripped it open. She was so funny. And she started crocheting and teaching me
In the middle of Walmart.
In the middle of Walmart.
In Boerne.
In Boerne. That's so Boerne. And then she would start to quiz me, and she'd just be like, so how many stitches in this loop? And I'd be like, 2 or something like that. And eventually we got to where we needed to go home, so we were exiting the Walmart when we saw her again. And me and my mom were like, you know what? I can't, like, just live knowing I will never see her again. We were like, can we exchange phone numbers? And so we did. And she has sent me, like, little packages of stuff from her own business.
Oh, she dropped stuff off of the office here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a bunch of crochet books the other day, like just sitting at the front porch.
The first time I got, like, an embroidered towel, I got some stuff from her own business. It's called Cahoots with a C. And she has really just supported me, and she's been like, oh, how is she doing? And stuff like that. And she's basically, if I were to adopt a grandma, I'd adopt her.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, okay, so you have taken up crocheting. You've got an entrepreneurial family, and now you basically have been building all these little plushies. So explain to listeners how this started at Samuel's Sports Field and how this has kind of evolved into a little bit of a business for you and what you're going to be doing tomorrow, June 22nd, at Boerne Market Days.
So I started crocheting, and I would bring my supplies to my brother's baseball games and football games mostly. And so I'd start crocheting, and these little girls would just run up to me, and they'd be like, are you selling them? And then they would be like, yeah. And they would go to their parents and would be like, can we buy one? And stuff like that. And that's kind of how the business got started. And I was like, you know what? I should do this, like, as a little side job, like, / hobby, because it's fun, and I enjoy it. I started doing that. I'd make some sales, and then I was like, you know what? I should apply for Boerne Market Days. And so June 22nd, I will be at my first market day with my supplies. I take custom orders. I will probably be making a website soon or an Etsy. But in the meantime, I'm just going to start off easy with market days. And so I will be there. Hope to see you guys at my booth.
Yeah, what's the name of your booth?
Knots and Blooms. Knots and Blooms. And the reason why it's called that is because I make crochet plushies, but in the future, I am thinking, don't steal my idea. I'm thinking like maybe the next market, I will have tubs of flowers. Like they're going to be called everlasting flowers. They're crochet flowers. You pick out what you want, you make your own bouquet, and it all comes to a price of that's what you're choosing. So you can control the price, how much you want, the colors, everything, and you can come home with a beautiful crochet bouquet that will last ages.
Very cool. So Izzy McGee, 15 today, 16 while this is airing on June 21st. Happy birthday, Isabella Rose McGee. We, Mom and Dad, and your brother Samuel love you so much. And you are a joy, a bundle of joy, and a firecracker that I wanted all our listeners to hear. And just to be optimistic about the generation of kids today and be encouraged by the generation of kids today, because they are dealing with different pressures and different things and different opportunities than we were as kids. And, you know, you heard it here, just some of the things that she shared today about, you know, being a child of a business owner, the pros, the cons. She talked a little bit about, you know, starting driving, interviewing for jobs, a little shout out to Boerne ISD and how they prepared you on how to make resumes and, you know, looking for jobs and now your entrepreneurial journey. And what do you like most about crocheting? You told me earlier today.
Okay, so I honestly struggle with hair pulling due to anxiety, and this has helped keep my hands busy while making a fun like reward and result in the end of a plushie. And so I can make money off of it. It helps me not pull at my hair. It also does strengthen your finger muscles. Not sure why that's necessary, but it's just fun.
Yeah. And so the other day, Baron, I was actually taking her to cross country in the morning, and she was literally crocheting on the way to cross country. And she's now, you know, junior and going to be, you know, leading the freshmen a little bit this year. And on the way, she literally made a chicken on the way. I couldn't believe it. So anyway, very, very talented. That's my daughter, Izzy McGee, and happy 16th birthday. Thank you for listening to this today. I hope everyone has a wonderful, wonderful weekend, and God bless.
God bless. Bye.